Hello everybody, I am AngryBird. Today we have a new Brawl on Brest game to cast. It's the final game of round 1. The winner of this game will go on to face Sean in the semi-finals, and today we're going to see myself, AngryBird, take on AmberT. Let's have a look at the decks. We have my deck up first. I am playing the 1st Polish Infantry Division, and we are playing this on balanced income. So in terms of deck composition, we're definitely looking to use a hell of a lot of infantry. We've got 2 cards of Sea Phase Strelky, 27 infantrymen apiece. So what's that? 54 infantry just in Sea Phase alone. I don't think that takes the biscuit. I remember Robert having I think it was the Scottish infantry once having like more than 90 riflemen in in Phase C. So we're not quite taking the biscuit, but we are definitely heavy on the spam here. We've got 22 T-34 76s in Sea Phase as well. Yes, so a very heavy deck, and you'll notice actually 3 M42 guns all in A Phase. So that's 18 M42 guns available to me in the first 10 minutes of the game. And that decision, I don't normally take them with the deck. I made this specifically for this game to take on the Panzer. I made a couple of changes. I think we took out I can't remember exactly what I took out to put those oh, in fact, actually I think I just changed up the anti-tank deck. I think we had some more Su-85s in, or potentially I think some PTRS or PTRDs in as well. But I took them out and I put the M42s in there, and I did that specifically because I didn't want to get overwhelmed by the light recon units that Panzer have at their disposal, you know, like the Puma layers and things like that. And also I wanted to take advantage of the closer combat where you can deploy guns on the field without the transports. We can see I've already deployed down 2 52Ps, a third one there as well in the center. So I wanted to make sure that if I deployed 6, you know, M42 guns at the very start of the game, that wasn't it for my entire anti-tank for A Phase. I wanted to make sure that I had enough reserves available to me to take out those light vehicles. I was very worried about the light vehicles at the start of this game, kind of just overwhelming me and putting me in a bad position at the start, which could then, you know, be furthered by AmberT with the heavy vehicles that we are going to struggle to take out. There is no doubt about that, and we're going to be reliant on the 2 IL-2s, 2Ms in B Phase and the 4 IL-2Ms in C Phase. We are definitely going to be relying on them. AmberT, he's playing the Panzer on balanced, and like I alluded to, he has what, 6 234/1s, 4 Pumas, and all in A Phase, and then 18 SDKFZ 250/9s in C Phase. And then his tanks, he has the 3 Panzer 3Hs, sorry, the 8 Panzer 3Hs, and then a lot of Panthers that are all up vetted. So he, in terms of tank numbers, once you get past the light vehicles, A and B Phase, he has what, 4 Panthers in A Phase, 6 Panthers in B Phase, and then another 6 Panthers in C Phase with 8 Tigers. So actually there is a lot of heavy tanks there for us to get through. I think Panzer are very good at this closer combat playstyle, and one of the reasons I think they are is the 2 cards of IG-18s that they get. Now this was played pre-patch, so they actually get 6 in A Phase, and then I believe it's 10 in B Phase, or it might be 9 in B Phase. but they have the current deck you're seeing is as of this patch, so they have more IG-18s than the 12 that are showing, and those IG-18s are really good in closer combat. You can set them up in defensive positions at the very start of the game, and AmberT's done that in the very northern side. He's got 4 of them set up already, and then 1 in the south. So if you bring in a lot of those IG-18s, I mean, he's going to be using those to take on the infantry. The one weakness for Panzerlehr, the lack of infantry. So we had, what, 54 infantry squads in C phase, whereas AmberT, he's got 12 Panzergren squads. So he's got to rely on his vehicles. He cannot rely on his infantry because it's too precious. And whereas myself, I'm going to be relying on my infantry and hoping to God that I can contain those Panthers, Tigers and Jagdpanzers. Let's have a look at the deployment on the map so far. And in turn, I was thinking about how I was going to cover this game earlier on when I cast some others. I mentioned this game was upcoming, and I think I am just going to try and treat this as a traditional cast. And so I will be referring to myself kind of as either myself or we or I. But yeah, I think we are going to try and treat it like a normal cast. So I just had to quickly answer the door there. I'm hoping to edit that out post-edit, but if I've not managed to, you'll see why. So in terms of tactics, well, the game has started, and we're going, or myself, I'm going for a heavy push down south. I mean, look at the numbers we've got in. We've got flamethrower troops. We've got a lot of infantry still to place themselves down. We've got an Su-57, gun jammed immediately by the IG-18 and the combined Jagdpanzer 4. I didn't actually intend this Su-57 to go straight up the road. I wanted it to go through this forest. I was trying to micro it through there, but it just wasn't happening. I was using the fast move or fast attack micro, and it did not like it. In terms of the northern side, we're going very defensive, or we're just trying to contain the northern approach. All our attacking power is in this southern side, and AmberT actually taking a very defensive route all around. Not really attacking. He's pushing forwards in this southern area, but this is his flag, so he's only moving to a point where he can defend it. He's not really attacking anywhere across the map, so I think he's looking to set up a defense and let me attack into him, and I guess that's his tactic, at least at the start of this game, to absorb any attacks coming forwards until he can build up enough heavy tanks. I would think that that's his tactic. So in the southern side, we're pushing forwards with the M3A1s around the outside and the Su-57 here to get them into position to support this infantry when it gets into range, because most of it is all CQC infantry. So we needed to support them while they were getting into the 100-meter range. We've got the Sapperies. They are moving up with the artillery commander and some reinforcing infantry into this southern side. AmberT purchasing a Jagdpanzer for the top side, and that's his entire first tick income. So both of us on balanced income. Not fantastic. The Pioneer throws in the satchel charge. I think actually it takes a worse hit at the flamethrower unit than it does at the Descent Sogalwi. And again, another one comes in, destroys 2 flamethrower units on the spot. But I think through just sheer numbers, we may well win this one out. Down goes another flamethrower, and it's looking pretty bleak here. The M3A1s firing at the back with the Su-57, and I think actually if it wasn't for those, we would probably be losing this situation. We finally managed to surrender the southern Pioneer, although it does throw in another grenade, and the entire infantry, apart from this artillerist, is pretty much lost in this central attack. We have managed to pick up the flag, but certainly I would say in terms of points, AmberT winning out that initial skirmish there. He is having to retreat, and we do have the M3A1s. I think if he doesn't take out those half tracks, then he won't win out in the position. So he needs something to do that, and he's going to rely on the SBW 234/1 that he's bringing in. I think that was the only purchase for him here, so he's maybe just saving a couple of points there as well. I brought in some flamers in the southern side to flank around this southern area. The assumption is that I've now got control of this point, and hopefully we'll get control of this forest, but it's pretty hard to push out from this forest. The best way I find to do it is to actually push around the southern side to take up this second point. So we're kind of preparing for that already, and we can see the front lines well ahead, so there shouldn't be much in our way. And in comes reinforcements now, the more Tanko Disaniki, Saperzi, and this time Odziel Carney backing up, which will give me some better non-CQC infantry. I think AmberT, he's kind of giving up the point because he won't be able to take it back unless he takes out those half tracks. So he's relying on this 234/1 to come around and do that job for him. And he's just keeping his pioneers back. But actually, it's a good choice at this point. Like I say, if he can't take out the half tracks, there's no need to push his pioneers forwards. So the SBW 234/1 comes into range. We try and move our half tracks out the way, but we weren't quite able to save one. The artillerists, we're retreating at this point, and where the SBW is still moving forwards, does pick up the artillerists, and now we're engaging with the Su-57. So we're hoping to take out this SBW 234, and this is quite an intense engagement because either one can destroy the others. And I would say actually it falls in favour of the SBW with the autocannon because it can get its shots off much faster than the Su-57. If that Su-57 doesn't get its first shot on target, then yeah, and it gets the shooter kill, which is good enough for me, and I'm just going to chase that SBW 234/1 down. It cannot engage me right now. So the idea is just to try and chase it down and get the killing blow. AmberT was pushing forwards with his pioneers, but this time we have got Saperzi that can engage at the 100 meters, and we're also pushing in the M3A1. The SBW 234/1 has made it out of the forest and will recover itself. We can't chase it out of that forest. We are aware that the IG-18 is there, so we can't really push past this light forest with the light recon vehicles or the half tracks and the Su-57. And AmberT is going to push in for a second chance. And like I said, really, this falls in favour of AmberT. I mean, he's slightly outnumbered with the M3A1s, but really, you've got to favour him with the half tracks. He has come in, destroyed another half track now. And if we cannot destroy that SBW 234/1, we're going to be in real trouble. The artillery commander taking shots. The sapper unit have gone down, but we've inflicted some heavy losses on the pioneers. AmberT is going to have to reinforce that position. In comes an IL-2M, as well as a Focke-Wulf 190A8. And the Focke-Wulf looks like it went in for the attack onto the IL-2M. The IL-2M picks up 2 kills there. Beautiful play. And if we can get the surrender on that pioneer fuel, that'd be absolutely outstanding. A driver kill comes down on the Su-57. Does get the loader wounded onto the autocannon and does somehow take it down with a second shot, but then gets taken out with a gun jam. Luckily, we have reinforced with 2 T-34Es, and they should now match this 234/1. And we're bringing in M42s in as well. The IL-2 back there, we were actually engaging with the Focke-Wulf 190A8. We do manage to get the kill there, and that kill does as well, or stands us in great stead, because it just helps out in that early air game. The Odziel Carney can actually take out this SBW 234 with the PTRD, so we're not too afraid of attacking there, especially with the T-34Es right behind, pushing those forwards to try and get the kill. The Tanko Disaniki coming right forward after the Pioneer Führer, and we really want to take out that Pioneer Führer, get to the edge of this forest, and really this gives us this point, secures us this point without too much trouble at this stage. The T-34E pushing forwards does get shot onto the Gepard, and again I am worried of pushing out here, although we do attempt to push forward, put the Panzergrenz under some pressure, but the Jagdpanzer, a fantastic position, gets the spalling hit on the T-34E, and you've got to favour Yes, down goes the T-34E now. They don't really have enough penetration to penetrate the frontal armour of this Jagdpanzer, and AmberT just reversing it ever so slightly just to get it into a position that, you know, it's only engaging with that 1,000 meters. The Panzergren's kind of caught in the open. The Odziel Carney now engaging, and with the 3 DP-28s, they should win out in heavy cover versus the Panzergrens in open ground. We're pushing up the M42 guns now. So, like I said earlier, we put in 3 cards of these M42 guns, and so far we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the field. So we've got a total of 18, so that's half the M42s used within A phase. So potentially we could have actually taken 2 A cards and 1 B phase card, which would have given me even more M42s in the long run. AmberT, he's now fully lost this point, so he has to do something, and he's attacking over the central ground. And if there's anywhere the Panzer Lehr can really control this game, it's this central town and this central ground, because really the 1st Polish, they don't have the anti-tank capability outside of their air force to really take on the heavy tanks and even the medium to heavy tanks with the Jagdpanzers of the Panzer Lehr. So quite surprising, AmberT has waited until B phase to kind of launch forward this attack in the centre ground. I would have expected him to push forward in the town right from the very start and use the IG-18s, positioning the Jagdpanzers on the top of this hill. But obviously reacting to our push in this southern side, the M42 gets itself into a nice position and just takes out one of the Panzer III H's pushing forwards. And we've got 2 more M42s advancing right to the edge of this forest, and it's going to leave them within the sort of 600 to 800 meter range, which is really going to help them out penetrating the Jagdpanzer IV. And now our Panther D, not quite coming into the north, but coming into the central area. We have managed to kind of hold off the Pioneers with the help of the 52Ps, but we do actually kill them as well. But the Superse also under heavy attack from the IG-18. It's interesting that both of these sort of gun positions kind of are on opposite sides of each other. It's this map, I've got to say, if I'm honest, it's not one of my favourite maps. I do love the absolute elevation change on this map, but in terms of playing it, I don't really like it. It's a mix between it's kind of an infantry map in the south and the north, but then a complete tank map in the centre, which it kind of makes it good, but then I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. One of the M3A1 half track goes down to, I think, the Panther D in the north there. We've got a T-34E hanging back here. But we're going to be worried about these Panthers. We've managed to push a Ognia into the compound, but with the Panzer III-H there, we can't really push further forward at this stage. We are bringing up a Sapere and obviously reinforcing this centre position. I think after we held off the attack of the Sapere, we kind of realised the situation was available for us to push. The T-34E is engaging the Panzergrens. We've got a 52P engaging other Panzergrens. One Panzergren has managed to get very far forward, but look, they cannot spot each other. They're like the other side of a tree. There's, well, maybe about 5 trees between these 2 squads, but how they can't see each other at that range, unbelievable. So back to the action. The Panther Ds now, though, are in a decent position. This one has just come round into a nice little place to take out this T-34E, and there's no way that T-34E can stand up to the Panzer. I'm not reacting quick enough here. I should be diving that into this light forest to try and save it, but not quick enough at the micro there. We've got a hell of a lot of Strelky CKMs coming in and beginning to engage the Panzergrens, but we can definitely make ground here. The worry is this complete hill line, and yes, we have brought in a Haubicke M30. In fact, we've got 2 of them on the ground now, and we're targeting that hill line because it is just raining fire down onto our troops in the centre. The M42 gun attacking the Panzer 3Hs as they move south to north here. And AmberT still under trouble in this southern side. I mean, he has a key Jagdpanzer in a great position, but we're now pushing a T-34E right down the southern side, and that'll actually be nice, in a nice position to take out the Panzer 3H. Although AmberT investing a hell of a lot of infantry now into holding this southern position. I think he realizes he's kind of being pushed quite deep here. M42 gun taking a sight damage critical against the Panzer 3H. The T-34E engages, first shot crew killed, and I don't think AmberT will have expected a T-34 in that position. We're immediately following that up. We get the second shot on the kill with the Panzer H going down, and we're immediately following that, pushing into the compound, trying to pick up this point. We're also, with the success of that T-34E, spawning more T-34Es in to push onto that position. We've got an IL-2M coming in, and I think the aim is to take... We were originally going for the Panzergrenz, but they've been taken down slightly, so we're re-aiming onto the IG-18s. And yes, both down in that same hit. Beautiful play. It does give me the flag here, 14-10, and we will win the game in just over 11 minutes time. AmberT had managed to push a Panzergrenz squad up to this very far forward central position. We did manage to take that out, I think, with the 52Ps. The Panzergrenz have been discovered. The Strelky CKM did go down. And potentially those two Panzergrenz, I mean, they can still face up in the light forest over the 100-meter range against the Flamen unit. So we're trying to reinforce with Sapere, but we're coming under threat from the IG-18. And like I said, those IG-18s very powerful. We're retargeting the artillery onto those IG-18s at the moment. So AmberT reacting to pushing the centre as well. More infantry coming in here, but he doesn't really have the infantry reserve to engage in a long infantry battle. We've pushed the T-34E right round down on this road. What a fantastic push, and really, you know, threatening this supply route. And a lot of that infantry that came into this southern side, I think, got redirected up north potentially. It must have done, because there were a hell of a lot of units coming in here. And there's two Pioneers, but the Pioneers won't be able to stand up against the T-34E. And we've got Oddziel Carnies moving across the open. They have the PTRD, and they're getting the critical shots off against this Jagdpanzer. I'd like to see this T-34E push in and potentially try and get a side or a rear shot onto this Jagdpanzer. But at the moment, it's pushed up to the kind of crossroads. It's engaging the Pioneers, and they've got kind of a decent advantage at long range, even while under threat from the T-34E. And AmberT spawning a Panther D, but at the moment he's under severe threat. He is launching an attack into the centre though with two Panzer 3Hs, but the Strelky CKM with the PTRDs can actually do some decent damage against those Panzer 3Hs. Just moving back there in time to avoid the, I think it was an artillery strike coming in, yes, from the, what unit is that? The LEFH-18M, and now it's targeting with counter battery onto the Halberger M30s, and AmberT is very good at his counter battery. It's something I've noticed over several games of playing him. Very strategic, will always try and counter battery your artillery. So somehow though, the 52P is kind of holding off that Panther D with the HE. And I think obviously the M42s as well were pinging shots off at that Panther D, so forcing it back for the moment. But like I said, a Panther D in the centre there, it's really hard for the 1st Polish to pull that back. And at the moment, the T-34E, we can't really engage against a Panther D. We saw it come in, and we've had to back away. No real opportunity for us there. More T-34Es coming into this southern side, as well as a hell of a lot of infantry, trying to just kind of secure this compound position. If we can take down, wow, down goes the Gepard to this M42 gun. I mean, look at that position of the M42 gun, so far advanced, and it's come all the way through this forest. So absolutely beautiful positioning. The Jagdpanzer, it's still not managed to kill these Oddziel Carnies, but they're almost out of ammunition. I mean, this one's got 4 left on it. It's now falling back. But they start with what? A hell of a lot. They have a hell of a lot of ammunition in those PTRDs. This one's still got 16 shots. It's taking shots at the Panther D. The Sappersi and Pioneer will engage, but it looks like I was trying to retreat them back. And the Pioneer should win this one in the green cover, especially with no supporting attacks from the T-34Es. We have got Sappersis. Actually, we're making a desperate attempt for this flag in the rear. We do rightly unload this Sappery here. There was no way it was going to get down this road. And we're pushing these Sappery right across the open. Will they be able to get into that forest in time? The Jagdpanzer misses the first shot, and we do unload the Sappersi. We need to get that one into the forest. The second one, again, just missed that second shot. And we do also just unload before the IG-18 comes in. And we might be able to secure that position. The IL-2Ms, they've done me a great job so far. We just retargeted onto the Pioneer, but unfortunately, the SDKFZ 7-1 that's come in has pushed us back there. And AmberT spawning a hell of a lot of IG-18s. We're now towards the end of B phase, and he's got, what, 6 plus 10, I believe. So either 16 or 15 IG-18s in total in his deck. And there's now, what, 2, 4, 6. There's going to be 8 on the field at this point. So, whereas if we look at my own sort of infantry support guns, we've got 152p remaining here, and then 252ps up in that northern area. So we are definitely outgunned in the sort of infantry support area. The Odseo Carney finally out of PTRD ammunition, but we did manage to get those Sappersi into the forest, and actually they're going to be pretty difficult to root out, especially as AmberT doesn't really have anything there. We do manage to pick up the flag. We've now got a 15-9, and we are under trouble though back here in the town. We will win the game in 8 minutes time, but really under a lot of pressure in this town. I think AmberT, if he could focus a few more infantry resources, he could well take that. And the Panther D, that's got its tracks broken from the from the M42 fire, but those M42s won't penetrate without the APCR. I think at that range it's too much for them. But I think they're probably, yeah, they're on holding fire. Well, one of them's on holding fire, so I think that's on efficient shot, or potentially on its own return fire order. AmberT still counter battering the artillery. He has taken one down to 1 strength. The other M30, we're concentrating on that town, trying to hold off. But over time, I think AmberT will win the artillery game, and that is something that he likes to do in these games. He basically sets out fairly defensive, picks himself up a strategic advantage with the artillery counter battery, sets himself up for nice airplay with the anti-air, and also his own air force. He uses them very well, and he kind of sets himself up for the rest of the game. And it's really at the end of B and C phase that he really tries to press forwards. But at the moment we've got him in a really tough position. The 2 Sappery in there holding that forest very well. He's now pushing in with Pioneers, but against 2 Sappersi might be too much for that 1 Pioneer squad. 2 against 1, you've got to favour the Sappersi, but there is now enough here to kind of overwhelm control away from those Sappersi. So we do lose the flag and go back to a 14-10. But I think we've just got enough T-34Es here to prevent the push from these Panzergrens. And AmberT is going to need more to push into this position, really. M42 guns picking the Panther D, advancing across the open, and nothing can see it yet. The Panzer 3H coming in under attack from more M42 guns unloaded onto the road. So I think, yeah, we were looking to push them into that forest and just have an overwhelming number of M42s, but we had to unload them onto the road earlier. I think I was coming up here and then was going to dive into this light forest, but the Panzer 3H meant that we had to unload that early. It is now bailed out. We've got a Jagdpanzer moving up the road, and I think AmberT is going to try and attack with that Jagdpanzer and the other one. He's now kind of got an overwhelming armor force that we can't really penetrate. So he's going to use that to his advantage. The Panzergren's still pushing forward in that town, but the Saperzi in defence, pinning one squad down. 2 IG-18s there. They are actually pinned out. One of them taking fire from this T-34E right across the way there. And AmberT putting more pressure up north now. Looks like he's pushing forwards, potentially looking for an attack into the north. Yeah, he's probing with these Panzergrens. Look how he's pushing them forwards, waiting for them to get to a position where he needs to unload. Then unloading them. And the IG-18s, originally they came into here. And look how he's pushing these IG-18s forwards. He's going to use 4 IG-18s to support these 2 Panzergrens. And if I'm honest, that's probably going to be enough against really 152p. Because as soon as they unload, these M42 guns can't really do much. The Otsio will do decently, but they can't stand up to 2 squads and 4 IG-18s. And even a Jagdpanzer as well. So I really feel AmberT is going to make massive progress in that central area. We got the first of the IL-2s, cluster bombers coming in and looking to take out that Panther in the very central area. That has been there for an absolute age. Just constantly tanking shots from a hell of a lot of ZIS-3 guns down here and M42 guns. And the cluster comes in and does get the kill. So a successful first cluster strike, and that gives me back some territory in this ground. And actually, if we push forwards with this Saperzi, wow, no, that would be a bad choice, because the SDKFZ 250/9 would probably put us in a bad position there. The Jagdpanzers move forwards, but one of them taken out probably by a side shot from these T-34Es. But we have lost a few of them. I think we had at least 4 in this position. The Panther moving across open ground with nothing in front of it. And look how we're moving these M42 guns right the way forwards. I mean, we're probably going to be in 250 meter range, 200 meter range by the time that this gets into position. Let's have a look, and maybe even getting a side shot here. Yeah, 1 shot, 1 kill. AmberT is going to really be devastated by the loss of that Panther. And actually, that leaves him completely unarmoured in this southern side. He has picked up the flag with the movement of the Panzergrens. But really, we should be trying to push for something in this central area. However, I think I'm microing against the attacks in the centre and the north. And we're actually 11-13 down now. So AmberT has made fantastic progress, equaling and reversing this game. We managed to get the pin in on the Panzergren, which takes them down to 3 health, recovers us a flag back to 12-12, allows us to move our infantry in. But they are going to recover in time. And really, we should be making another play in the southern side, because we are now actually pushing forwards the T-34Es. I think we're potentially trying to get something in here, but I don't think it's aggressive enough. This has allowed AmberT to bring in another Tiger E in, and that Tiger E is going to massively bolster this force, because if these we don't know that there's only Panzergrens here, but we should, well, we can see there's Panzergrens with the Panzerfaust up north, so it's fair to assume that the infantry's probably got Panzerfaust on, which is why I'm kind of fairly holding back with the T-34Es, I would think. But I don't think I've quite noticed at the moment that this flag has gone down in favour of AmberT. I'd probably like to push the Saperzi forwards, trying to get some kind of attack off. I think we have now, we moved the Odzielkani out into the open, and that's revealed a lot of the infantry, the 2 Panzergren squads here. And the T-34E should now get them into position. We've got Saperzi coming in to reinforce this position, and maybe we can actually get this flag back. I like these 2 Saperzi to unload. We better not lose these in the transport. We just unload 1 just in time. Let's hopefully unload the other, but there's a Tiger coming right up the field. Are we going to get that unloaded in time? Yes, just. And with the T-34Es, we pin down the Panzergren, we pick up the flag, finally we move forward the Saperzi and take them off, hold fire, and hopefully with those 2 units pinned down, we pick the flag back up. We're back to a 13-11, and the Tiger's revealed, or actually I think this Panzergren was revealed, and that immediately I started moving back because I don't think I was prepared for something in that forest. It was either that or we saw the Tiger firing, so I quickly moved the T-34E out of the way. But for now, we've re-secured that flag. In the northern side, the Panzergrenz have managed to come hell of a far distance forwards, supported by all these IG-18s. We've got a Jagdpanzer IV, a Panther D, and a Gepard for air support. Against the Strelky CKM, these Panzergrenz are going to go down, but really recovering this flag is going to be very difficult. And we've got an IL-2M coming in to take this Panther that was wandering completely. This Panther, I'm kind of surprised. I don't think AmberT should have pushed that Panther so far forward, but I guess he's worried about his infantry reserves. We need to call that IL-2M back. And this is something I'm pretty poor at, because I'll send an aircraft off, and then I'll start microing elsewhere, potentially down in the southern area, and forget to evac the aircraft. We have now given it an evac. The Tiger rolls through with supporting Pioneers and Panzergrenz. We've lost a T-34E. Down goes a Superser unit, another one there as well. The flag's completely taken by AmberT, and I think, again, with the resources I've got in this small forest, I have to give up this area. I cannot hold that area. And we're spawning in 2 more or 3 more T-34s to potentially give me some more reinforcements. But this area now is lost to me based on this number of units. I cannot hold that. And we're 13-11 down now. We need to make a play somewhere else. We've also lost this flag in the northern side. We've lost one of the infantry units in the compound, and the Pioneers are just holding that flag steady. They're literally just outside of that 52p, which handily takes down the Panzergrenz that are pushed very far forward. And more recon vehicles spawning into the centre and really pushing this forward. So AmberT must love to use these in C phase with the autocannon to kind of set up a defence, and then he'll use these probably to probe for weak areas in C phase, because he's got 18 of these at his disposal. So he'll then lead off with these and then reinforce wherever the weakest point is. He'll probably attack at that point with the full force of his armed division. So Pioneers moving across. We've managed to pull the T-34E back into kind of a position where it can engage from a distance, but the Tanko Desaniki discovered outside the 100-meter range, and this is terrible. A terrible situation to be in. Those Tanko Desaniki should have been further back, potentially, you know, around here, to just so that if it was engaged at least at a position where it could fire back. But actually, the reinforcing T-34Es have managed to kind of hold off these Pioneer units, and we did manage just to hold on to that position. But those Pioneers, they're probably going to be given a second chance. AmberT still counter-battering, and I think we've lost, I think potentially, well, there goes a supply truck. I think potentially, actually, we've not yet lost an artillery unit, but we did just lose a supply truck, and we have managed to reinforce this central area, push forward another unit, and we've got the 13-11 back, and we'll win the game in 8 minutes time. But actually, it's looking we're looking in a pretty weak situation here. We're holding this flag in the south, but we're barely holding this northern flag right now, and this central flag we're losing. So it's kind of a 1-for-1 at the moment. The other flag is here, but that is going to get lost as soon. Yeah, there it goes. That flag's going to go down now, although, actually, will it? Yes, it will, yes. The Pioneer Fuhrer, I think, is just enough to hold that, because these recon units, they won't hold that forward. So, actually, no, we don't lose that flag. So, at the moment, AmberT is gifting us that flag. The IL-2 comes in, but this Wirbelwind just does not give us any opportunity to land that cluster bombs. And that Wirbelwind with the, I think that's 4 Flatwings. I think it's 4 Flatwings in one. It's either 4 or 2. It shows 2 on the picture, but I'm thinking it's like 2 and then 2, because it's like a 2D picture. Yeah, that Wirbelwind, what a fantastic unit, able to hold off IL-2Ms before they come in. But we did manage to get a Su-85 up there. Does take out the Jagdpanzer, takes out a full supply truck, kind of in revenge for the one we lost earlier. And actually, that Wirbelwind potentially was kind of lucky there. The SU, I mean, it was facing off against a Tiger coming forwards, but if that had been a little bit further forwards, we might have been able to take down that Wirbelwind. We've got T-34E pushing in against the Recon half-tracks, and they will be able to hold that off. I would have thought. Yes, they do manage to hold off that progress, and actually we may well recover this flag here. Another IL-2M coming in this time for the Northern Panther. But again, the Wirbelwind, I mean, look at the ammunition it's got on it as well. So it starts to engage, and it pins it down before it can make it to the Panther D. This Wirbelwind, an absolute fantastic anti-air piece. And we've even got the Flak 41 in now from AmberT, really helping that out. And AmberT is really holding off these air attacks in this northern side, which I think is managing to kind of keep him in play here. We have got the 1311. AmberT's got 7 minutes left on the clock to make a play, and I think really the central town, if he'd have invested more in it to date, I think he would have this centre town. We are hanging on by an absolute thread here with the Saperzi and Odziel Carney units. But the Pioneers, in comes the grenade, and they do fall back the Odziel Carneys. The Saperzi are still in place to kind of hold off those Pioneers. They now move forward into the next building, and they should launch their grenades here. Hopefully we get some decent micro off. So we do launch the grenade, and we pull back to reload, and yes, we actually get the kill there. So nice little play, but the IG-18s, they're engaging the Odziels at the back. We're spawning a hell of a lot of T-34s, and actually there's not too much in the centre ground now. I think the Panthers have been taken out by the IL-2 strikes. AmberT's got a bit more artillery in now. He's got the Hummel in, and that's going to, he's still counter battery in, so he's still looking for that advantage over the artillery game. We've got an IL-2M spawning in, and this time 2 IL-2s spawning in at once, and surely that Wirbelwind won't be able to handle both of them. We've got a crew killed T-34 and a gun jammed T-34, so we are just holding these flags, but really we're holding them by a thread. The Wirbelwind opening up on the IL-2M along with the Flak 41, and actually both IL-2Ms are forced back. It's just unfortunate for AmberT that he can't shoot them down, so they will survive for another day. And I think so far, I don't think I've seen an IL-2M shot down. The crew killed T-34 does go down. No infantry in this northern side whatsoever. The only thing holding is a Panther D. But this centre position, again for me, no real infantry holding. So the Panzergrenadiers are able to push that forwards with the Tigerese in reverse. But look at this. T-34 push through the centre town. We've just gone for a push. We're 13. We have recaptured this flag, so we are now 13-11 up. And I noticed these IG-18s taking a hell of a lot of fire, so I just pushed these T-34s up, and we do manage to take out 3 IG-18s there, which was a massive win for us. And hopefully we can get that centre flag. I think we're just not going to hold it because of the Pioneer Fuhrer there. And the T-34Es, they're now pushing up to this northern side. We're kind of hoping there's not much there. And at the moment, we're doing okay. I think the Strelky CKM there just being engaged by the IG-18. So it is revealing that. And I think we're trying to push the T-34's ease in there. We've continued going with the infantry, which is fantastic. We've secured this flag, and this is really going to hurt AmberT. We're actually, I think we're going for this flag right at the back there. But we unload, and are we going to capture that flag? What an attack this would be. Yes! Unbelievable. We were held right the way back here. And one T-34E push with about, what? 5 T-34Es in the flying V formation, sort of. Not really. And then some strokey CKMs dropped off all along the way, and we've managed to push all the way up. But AmberT, he's now got the Panther D forward, and we had these on attack moves. So these T-34Es are kind of trying to attack this Panther D, and the Panther D is going to have an absolute field day. We have now realised, and we're pushing around, but we're going to kind of push into a Tiger E. Although we may just be out of line of sight, but AmberT really should be, I would have thought, should be pushing that Tiger E forwards. As soon as he saw those T-34Es come up, we've got the another kind of spawn of T-34Es moving across this centre ground, because I was trying to capture this centre flag, and they're going to engage the IG-18s on the hill. Down goes an IL-2M. We're still trying to get attacks in this centre area. Every single time, though, the Wirbelwind is holding it off. But these T-34Es moving through the centre, the Panther D is now going to pick them off, these two Panther Ds down here. But we're trying to get rid of these IG-18s on the hill, and if we succeed, I think that will be a decent victory for us, because these IG-18s, really, they're going to kill a lot of our infantry. So the more of those we can take out, if we can get rid of them all, the better off we're going to be in the long run. We're trying to get out of the 2,000 meter range to stave off attack from these Panther Ds. And we're still managing at the moment to engage. We've got a hell of a lot of reinforcing infantry coming in, but I wasn't aware of this Tiger E pushed forwards into such a forward position. AmberT has got an absolute beauty of a position there. And what a fantastic position that is. We do unload all of our infantry, but potentially we shouldn't have done that. And at the moment, now we're giving them orders. We have now realised this Tiger E is here. We're pushing forward the IL-2M, and potentially we're looking for a, I think I'm looking for a surrender here, the way that I'm moving forward these strokey CKMs. We do now manage to get the bombs off, and we do get the kill on the Tiger E. That was a pretty damn important kill. And the Panzergrens that move forward here from AmberT, wow, they would have picked up both flags. So AmberT is back at the 1311. He's pushed me off this very northern flag, but at the moment we've got these two southern flags and we're holding them for now. We've got these T-34Es into a position where they kind of can't get attacked by the Panthers and can at least provide a potential short-range fire or short-range coverage. But I think over time the Panther coming in there is going to win out. And yeah, the T-34Es we had in here been taken out by this northern Panther. We have managed to rush in infantry to reinforce this central town. I think I knew that I wasn't going to be able to hold that position. So for me, the most important thing was holding this position here. Even holding this central position was going to be a struggle for me against the kind of tanks that we've got. We're pushing forwards again in this southern side, but no infantry really here to capitalise. So if we do manage to get any kind of victory against this Tiger E, we haven't really got the infantry to take over the point. So I'd have liked to have seen more infantry spawned into that position. At the moment, I'm looking kind of I'm using groups of about 40 T-34Es altogether, and then spawns of about 3 or 4 infantry. And I'm kind of feeling that, I think at this point, I was feeling very uncomfortable with this match. And I was desperately trying to recover flags against AmberT's attacks. We have managed to pick up this flag back. And we're still 13-11 down though. AmberT holding these two northern flags. And we're trying to push the CKMs in. Somehow we've got the turret stuck. I noticed the turret stuck on the Panther D. It was probably a cluster bomb. And I actually purposefully checked the line of sight. I noticed that this building here provided me with cover so I could push these T-34Es forwards. I mean, if you look at the way I'm pushing them forwards. And I wanted to get into like close range and then come around from both sides of this building to get side shots on the Panthers. So that's the attempt in this northern side. We've got a hell of a lot of T-34Es. We're pushing forwards another IL-2M to try and recover this Tiger E. And I'm desperately pushing forward for this Panther attack because I know there's nothing else here apart from this Panther. And we're getting the T-34Es into position to kind of make a desperate attack around both sides. And we do actually spot... So we do spot the Wirbelwind. What a kill that is. And that will really allow our air attacks to now come in to this center position. That was a massive kill. And actually, if this other Wirbelwind goes down, this will be huge. No, it just escapes. But actually, this reinforcing Panther D here did a fantastic job, because if it wasn't for that Panther D, I think we would have been able to overwhelm this position. So that position, unfortunately, with just one T-34E, we're really going to struggle against the two Panthers. But that kill on the Wirbelwind, an absolute massive kill. Down goes another IL-2M. We're slowly losing them to these two Pack 41 88 mils. One of them even low on shells. But this Wirbelwind coming in, I mean, look at the anti-air that AmberT's got here. He knows that I'm relying on those IL-2s to kill his big tanks. And he's just trying to get enough anti-air up. I would like to have seen him invest in more fighters, I think. I mean, I think he had enough in his deck. I don't think he's like majorly lost some. I would have liked to see him invest more fighters, because there's no way that my fighters can contest his with this anti-air up. So anytime those IL-2s come in, if he's got a fighter up, he would easily be able to shoot them down. But we are now pushing, well, we've pushed the T-34Es. I think we were trying to kind of take them with this second one, but we did lose the close one to a bailout. But somehow we have managed to overwhelm one Panther, and actually with these Strelkies pushing in, I think we can get back this flag. But again, just in time, another Tiger coming up to this northern side. IL-2 strike coming into this central Panther that's wandered very far forwards, and doesn't get the kill. But we are now managing to get these strikes through, at least in the center ground. I love the way that AmberT has just pushed his Panzergrenz around the town. He's struggling to get through the town, so he's now actually resorted to pushing them around the outside, and he knows that I can't compete tank for tank with his Panthers. Really intelligent play this, because he doesn't have the infantry units to match up one-to-one with myself. So the way that he's just moved them around the edge of the town, and then he's using the Panther Ds to kind of cover those infantry units moving. I think actually it was quite intelligent play for me having them on hold fire, because if they weren't on hold fire, they'd open up at the Panzergrenz and then just get destroyed by all the Panthers around the outside. So at least we're managing to keep a presence in there, and just by a sliver we're managing to hold on to this flag. Despite there being a Panzergrenz, he is just pushing his way outside of control, you know, of the front line, and eventually I'm sure that 52p, no, completely out of HE shells. We're missing air attacks in the north. I think the IL-2M, yeah, forced back by the Flak 41s. But yeah, actually, I think the flank around the sides, the double flank, the T-34 coming up through this southern side, the two T-34s coming down from the north. We managed to take out that Tiger, and actually not a lot left here by AmberT. So back to a 13-11. He's using the recon troops pushing forwards, and I'd have liked to have seen these T-34s come up and just engage from this kind of position, but instead we're kind of pushing them forwards into Flak 88s, and that's not a good plan. That is definitely not a good plan. AmberT, he's kind of won the artillery fight. No more artillery left on my side, and he's now using it to attack these forests, but we have the infantry advantage. More cluster munitions come in, but the Panther D again manages to escape. We're pushed back to a 12-12. AmberT is now right on the edge of defeat. I mean, he has an infantryman like almost right on this flag, but he cannot control it. But the SPW-234 does reveal the CKM and allows his supporting units to fire on it. And I think if he continues that approach of pushing forwards, revealing and then reversing again, he'll actually he will manage to take back this position. Still at a 12-12, we're just hanging on to this northern position, but again a Tiger Ray against Strelky CKMs, as well as the SDKF Z259s in the recon role, just holding on. We tried desperately to bring in a Yak 1B to strafe the recon units, but we weren't able to do that in time. We have reinforcing with T-34-76 recon tanks, but we had to reposition a lot as they took that flag, and somehow we are holding on to this position. I think the lack of infantry is really hurting AmberT now. This Tiger is having to move back to try and recover the front line. This flamethrower unit is holding the position, but actually he could get revealed by, yes, does get revealed by the recon unit. And if that goes down, I think we are now going to lose these two flags. We have just managed to get the 1311 back. We're holding these two in the center somehow. The Panther D's moving right the way forwards, as well as Pumas revealing the Strelky CKM. AmberT's got 30 seconds. He's just managed to get the 12-12, having taken this flag again, but we're pushing forward CKMs. We still have the infantry advantage right now. I think we are starting to run low, but we still have the infantry advantage. We're aiming to take out the Panther D with a PTRD anti-tank rifle. We go for the side shot, but unfortunately we weren't able to get that, and they should go down. The Tiger's still not holding that front line forwards. And I think the Whirlwind's going to come forwards to try and push the front line in favour of AmberT. I mean, that is very lucky. He has a 13-11 right now. We get the bombing strike off onto the Puma, and AmberT now using the Focke-Wulfs to his advantage. We've got one anti-air unit down here. AmberT's not pushed in this southern side really, but he has now managed to recover the flag with the battery Führer. But we've realised that, and we're pushing units back. There's no need to keep them up in this advanced forest. We're pushing them back to retake this flag, so momentarily we should defeat them and push it back to a 12-12. Down goes two planes. I'm not sure exactly what they were. Probably IL-2 bomber planes. We've got a the Panther has beat the Strelky CKM, but we've got an IL-2M desperately trying to get the cluster munitions off. Does succeed, and hopefully that should swing the territory flag back in our favour. AmberT up to a 14-10 at that point. We do pick up one flag. He's got one infantry unit in this town. That gets taken out. I think he should have had that on hold fire. And we do recover the flag here. Back to a 12-12. So we are still in this game. I know it, like, AmberT must be desperately trying to hold on, but I was feeling like I might be out of this game. He is just out of infantry. If he had infantry left, I think he would win this game. Panzerlehr, they suffer from a lack of infantry, and we're kind of exploiting that and just trying to take out, or we've destroyed pretty much all of the infantry now. We're just trying to hang on by destroying the heavy tanks that keep pushing forwards into exposed positions just to try and hold the flags for AmberT. Another IL-2 bomber into the southern side. Does take out the Panther D, but does go down to the SDKFZ 7-1 fire. And AmberT now has his Focke-Wulf 190 G8s up. And we're engaging with the Yak B1s, but I think with the anti-air, we aren't going to win this battle. But I have spawned in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 anti-air units, all to take up this southern side, and this was a mistake, a massive mistake. I mean, maybe we could have brought 2 down here. We did lose one of them. I think we could have brought 2 down here and then had like 2 up north. There was no need for all 5 in this one spot, but that will certainly secure the air massively in this southern side. And AmberT's left with the heavy tanks. If we look at what he's got on the field, it's a 12-12. He has so much heavy armor here and anti-air assets, but pretty much nothing, absolutely nothing else. I think in terms of where he could make best progress, it is in this central position. This flag here he isn't going to take. He doesn't have the infantry to take it in the heavy forest. This town, he doesn't have the infantry to advance. He's also out of recon vehicles, apart from in the north, to kind of reveal the infantry. We've got all of ours on hold fire. We don't want them revealing themselves, because they can just stay in the heavy forest and kind of hold position. He is moving the battery Führer down here, and as well, with the assets he's got, he should be able to defeat the Strelky CKM. He does pick up the flag in this central ground, and really that's his best bet. That is his best bet for winning this game, just to push the heavy tanks forwards into positions where they can take these central flags. But he's got to watch out for the anti-air attacks. And I feel like these flak 81s, they should be moving further south. And I know they're going to move desperately slow. But for me, this northern side, wow, we do manage to pick off a recon vehicle with the Strokey CKM. We're pushing forwards, but we may be able to take out a Puma, but we're not going to be able to take out the 2 Tigerese. I think he has that safe, so potentially even the Wirbelwind, because it's faster, to move down into this central side. We do come in with an IL-2, do take out the Tiger, and the Gepards and the 88s are engaging, but will it be enough to shoot down this IL-2s? We're utterly reliant on these IL-2s to destroy the heavy tanks. Will this one get out alive? Everyone that makes it back alive is an absolute godsend. It just makes it back. We do have all the anti-air unloaded, and I've brought the Yak-1Bs over here because I'm trying to bait him into this. He is not going to expect 5 anti-air units all in one position. We are now engaging with the Yak-1Bs. We do lose 1 to the SDKFZ-71s. We managed to fall back 1 with all the AA fire, even engaging at that range. But yeah, we did try the bait there. It didn't pull off. The CKMs do manage to take out the Puma. We know they aren't going to be able to engage against the Tiger, so we're pulling them back. But potentially with the infantry, we could just potentially move up into the forest areas, and that's really all I can do in this northern side. I think I may well be out of T-34s at this point. We've used a hell of a lot of T-34s, and all that I'm spawning in is infantry right now. I feel like I feel like AmberT may be out of units, maybe out of heavy tanks. He's bringing in artillery pieces. We're bringing in artillery pieces of our own. This is the first artillery piece I've had in the game for a very long while. We're targeting it at this Gepard. AmberT has the 1311, and we're trying to get rid of the anti-air, I feel like, at this point. But really, if you look at this, the amount of time he's got left, he has barely any time left on the clock. There's not even a sliver of a bar remaining there. We managed to push forward the infantry and take up this central position. AmberT again has picked up the flag. He's at a 59 and could actually turn this around and get the victory in 10 minutes time. The Gepard is being forced to move position from the artillery attacks, and I feel like we're out of tanks right now. The IL-2 attacks have kind of faltered. I think we've got 1 IL-2 left that made it back, and we're now reliant on the Halberkar M30 120mm 122mm artillery pieces. That's our final swing of the dice to finish this game off. But 14-10 down. The Panthers actually got himself into a difficult spot there, getting himself crew panicked from the fire of the Strokey CKM with the PTRDs. And is he actually... He is facing the right... Well, he's open to side shot potentially. But I think the Panther's going to hold off, even against the side shots of the PTRD anti-tank rifle. We've got more Halberkar M30s on. AmberT's pushing his Focke-Wulf G8 right the way back here. I wish he'd just push over to this southern side because there's so much anti-air. And actually, I think AmberT's engaging that with his own artillery lock. I don't think he realises there's 5 anti-air pieces. We did bring one up to the north. Down goes the Focke-Wulf. That's a big win for us. And down goes the artillery battery Führer. The artillery battery Führer? One of those. And we're back to a 12-12. And AmberT, he is looking in major trouble right now. More Focke-Wulf 190 A8s come in. We're spawned in 3 more artillery pieces. We're waiting for them to unload. And AmberT, he has just pushed back this central flag with the Gepard. And I believe we're currently targeting that flak 88. I think that had been the bane of my life, trying to get these IL-2Ms to get the heavy tank kills. We push forwards some Odzil-Khani. I think I'm trying to push for this position back here. And we've now got our artillery focused on this Gepard. And the Tiger, he had from before, He's moved that back into that fantastic position, and I'm not sure I was aware that was there. But we've got all 6 artillery pieces right now firing on this Gepard, and I think this is a good call. This Gepard here, this Panther A, they're holding 2 flags all on their own, and we're 13-11 down. If we can get those 2 flags, we can pick up the victory. So right now, I think that's the aim. In come the first 3 shots. Not really getting any kills, but AmberT's got to worry about this Gepard. But the thing is, he can't really afford to move it out of position. I mean, he can probably sacrifice one of them, but if he moves that from position for too long, well, down it goes. Down goes the Gepard. We recover the flag here, back to a 12-12, and the Hummel really has got to be the next target. Although pushing forwards with Tanko Desanike, I think we're trying to sneak this flag right on the edge. We pick it up. 6 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we've picked up the victory. Unbelievable game, and credit to AmberT. This is officially the first time I have ever beaten AmberT at Steel Division. Both Steel Division 2 and Steel Division Normandy 44. So this was a big victory for me today. It might not have looked like much. It was a very messy game, I felt. I think both myself and AmberT, I think we could have played better in areas. I think I lost quite a lot of T-34Es at times when I didn't have to, especially when I pushed them forwards into those flak 88s. That was a big mistake. And AmberT, I think... there were a couple of times he pushed forwards very early on as well, Panthers, and he exposed Panthers early on to that central area, as well as even on the southern side. We had an M42 gun engage at about 200 meters to a Panther, and took it down with the first shot. So potentially AmberT, maybe I don't know, you're always going to struggle with that Panzerleiter deck, and the map that we were playing on, like I said, it favoured the infantry on both sides, and certainly the southern side, that's where I made my ground very early on as well. And I think AmberT was right not to kind of engage in that southern side too much. He recovered the flag he had, but he didn't push into that second forest in the south. And I think that was right, because if he'd have done that, he would have just churned through so many infantry trying to take back that flag, and the first Polish will always put out almost double, probably triple the amount of infantry that Panzerleiter can put onto the field. I mean, Panzerleiter, they had what? Was it 12 Panzergrenz in C phase? And we had 54. I mean, that shows the infantry difference between the two divisions. And AmberT, he tried to make ground in that central and northern position, and I think he did a fantastic job. I would have liked to have seen him maybe focus on that central town a bit earlier, because I think if he could have held that central town right at the bottom, at my side of the map, then he could have used his supporting IG-18s and Panthers to kind of hound any reinforcements coming into that town. And I think I would have really struggled to take back that centre town. But as it stands, we did manage to get the victory. 58 minutes. 56 seconds, and let's have a look at the team stats. So we get the victory, 6,600 kills to 7,100 losses, and like I say, it wasn't, you know, that was a messy game. AmberT, he's got to feel, I'm sure that he will feel aggrieved at losing that game, and I think if I was in AmberT's shoes, I kind of would as well, because for me, it was a victory, but it kind of felt like a hollow victory, because I think if AmberT would have had infantry, he would have won the game. There's no doubt about it. If he had infantry left at the end, he would have won that game. But I guess that's the deck system, that's the division system, and that's kind of how Steel Division is in a way. It's not just about the on-field skill. It is also about other things as well, picking the right divisions and things like that. And I think today we came off well. I'm going to leave it like that. We came off well. Let's have a look. The IL-2M, I think this is the bomber. Managed to pick off quite a few infantry units here. Look, 3 Pioneers and an IG-18, and that's fantastic result from those IL-2M bomber planes. I really liked those IL-2Ms. Very good unit. I definitely enjoyed using them throughout the game, and the reason I started using them, and something I've noticed in Steel Division League, they're very top players. They like the cheap low payload fighter bombers in Phase A, and they like using them because it just gives them that edge in the infantry fight, and it's something that further down the leagues, you know, maybe group 2 you see more of it, but group 3 and 4 you tend to see players opt for heavy bombers, because when people evaluate air assets, they kind of like, if I'm bringing in a massive plane, I want to get a kill, so I want to bring in a heavy bomber that can kill an infantry unit outright, no questions asked, and then you just point and click that aircraft onto that infantry unit, it deletes it, job done. And to a player in the lower groups, that's fantastic, and that they opt for that. But then players further up, they opt for lighter bombers to come in quickly and just tip the odds in their favour, because it costs less. They can get them earlier and snowball any advantage. And I've really noticed that, and I've started to use these lighter bombers and earlier in the game as well, and actually I'm really enjoying using them. So the Su-57 did pick up 2 SBW kills. I think that's fair dues. 2 kills for 1. I'm quite happy with that. The T-34E getting the Gepard kill. I mean, any AA kills were absolutely fantastic. This M42 gun picks up a Jagdpanzer IV and a Panther D. Absolute beauty of a job. T-34A on the southern side picks up the 2 Panzer 3Hs. Look at this M42 gun here. Jagdpanzer, Panther D, and 4 SDKFZ recon vehicles. Absolute work this this anti-tank piece did, and you cannot underestimate these M42 guns. Look at this, Panther kills. In fact, let's go through and let's check. I know we had a lot of these, but we're going to count the Jagdpanzers and the Panthers. So we've got 2 there. We've got 3, 4, 5 there. What else have we got here? 6 there. 7 there. 7. Nice kill there with that SDKFZ half track. AAP. 7 there. We're still on 7. I think that's it now. So 7 heavy tanks taken out with those M42s. That is absolute work. They only cost about 35 points a piece, I think. Taking out like a 100-point tank. Well, the Jagdpanzer's 95 points. I think the Panthers are what, 110? 120 points. So for that to take out like 3 heavy tanks, I'm going to class them medium heavy tanks. Absolute fantastic. They kept me in this game, because I think if more of those heavies would have been around, AmberT could have had like 3 or 4 in that central ground, and I think eventually I would have run out of IL-2 planes. Well, I did at the very end. I think I had 1 left, maybe not even 1. So you saw me resort to artillery at the very, very end. This IL-2 takes out 2 Panther Ds. Beautiful work. The Su-85 took out 2 IG-18s. Not really enough, but it's okay. Another IL-2 here. This is the bomber variant, taking down a lot of infantry. And like I say, another infantry unit down makes a great deal of difference in this matchup. 52p did decent there as well. The T-34E here, picking up a Panther D and a Gepard. Nice kills. Su-85, this was in the central area, the one that got the Opel Blitz munitions. Picks up an IG-18 Opel Blitz and a Jagdpanzer. And don't underestimate the Opel Blitz munition kills, because it's 40 points. I think it's 40 points off the bat. Yeah, 40 points off the bat. But it's also denying the enemy supplies. So you've got to add more points on top of that, because it's opportunity cost. So you've taken 40 points for the cost of the vehicle, and then the opportunity cost that AmberT has lost is through the reload of potentially AA or artillery in the main. So you've got to think, well, if he'd have reloaded, used all of those supplies on an artillery piece, and that had been constantly bombarding the battlefield, how many more units would AmberT have been able to take out with that Opel Blitz munitions? Do you see what I mean? So never underestimate Opal Blitz munition kills. Hopefully you've got that. The IL-2M here, 2 Tigeries and a Panther D. Absolute beautiful play. And the Halberker at the end coming in, another Opal Blitz munition kill. That might have been empty though. And the Gepard kill at the very end. And actually, look at these, the 561Ks that we brought in at the end as well. It just secured the air for me from these Focke-Wulf 190 G8, so I guess it counts. And an IL-2M here, look, with a Panther decal, so yeah. Losses, let's have a look. We did lose more than we killed, remember. Look at this Jagdpanzer 4. This was there at the very start for such a long time. 3 T-34 E-kills and an Su-57. Nice work. The Pioneers, this was here at the start as well. This was from my initial attack down in the south, and that took out 3 Flamer units and 2 basically Tanko Disaniki units. Excellent work from those Pioneers. Absolute excellent work. The IG-18s, like I said, it was really important that we took out those IG-18s. AmberT had what? What did we say? About 15 of them? I mean, this one took out an Su-85. These took out 2 anti-tank guns, a Sapere, you know, another anti-tank gun goes down. Those IG-18 kills were important. Definitely important for us to kill those weapons. What else have we got? The SDKFZ 7-1, look, that shot down 2 IL-2 bombers and a Yak-1B. So in terms of the anti-air, the Wirbelwind definitely better at forcing back the IL-2Ms. But the SDKFZ 7-1's better at getting the final kills. At least that's what we found. Another IG with a hell of a lot of kills. The artillery piece here did engage in counter battery and take out my initial M30 AA guns. Look at this Tiger E. I think this is on the the very southern side, replacing that Jagdpanzer. But that took out a lot of infantry and T-34Es as well. Potentially, actually, that might have been in the north where it took up position very far back in my back lines, where it was kind of in the light forest overlooking the resupply road. That was a fantastic position that AmberT was able to take up. And, you know, it might have been this one as well with the 4 T-34 kills. But he managed to kill a lot of T-34s. But like I say, with this first Polish deck, I mean, we had a hell of a lot of units in there. Look at this Panther D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 T-34 kills and 2 61K kills. Amazing work from this Panther. I think this was maybe the very north, or potentially even in the very south. I'm not sure. The IL-2M did get a Wirbelwind kill, so maybe we strafed that. I do not remember that Wirbelwind kill. What else have we got here? The Flak 41 did shoot down one of those ILs, and obviously the T-34E when we pushed it in there. Look at this Flak 41 as well. Get an IL-2 and a Jak-1B and another 2 T-34Es that we pushed in. We shouldn't have tried to attack those Flak 41s. That was just a major mistake. More Tiger E kills. The Wirbelwind as well, getting the 2 IL-2 kills. So it did actually do a decent job at getting kills. But yeah, wow, what a game that was. Let's have a look at how that affects the tournament. So we do manage to pull off the victory, my first ever victory versus AmberT. And wow, from one Group 1 player to another Group 1 player, we're going to be up against Sean in the semi-finals. And wow, if you thought the game, if you thought I was worried about the game against AmberT, then taking on Sean, poof, that scared me. But definitely tune in for that game. 100% tune in for that game. But I think first off, we will show the Here Robert versus Zenengun semi-final. So look out for that one first of all. And that should come out tomorrow. So I want to thank you very much for watching, especially if you stayed with me for about an hour and 20 minutes now. I really appreciate everyone who's subscribed so far. If you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button and the bell just so that you don't miss out on anything that I release. And also check out the links in the description to my Discord, Patreon and Twitch. So we are now streaming on Twitch as well. But I want to say thanks very much for watching. Hit that like button. It always helps with the YouTube algorithm. And I will catch you tomorrow with another Brawl on Brest game.